Will Funko improve now that Big B was dethroned? Let's talk about it.
In case you missed the news that was literally everywhere yesterday, Brian Mariotti, CEO of Funko, is no longer CEO, and not only that, but he is taking a 6-month hiatus. But the weird part is that he's literally not CEO anymore after taking this 6-month break. So a lot of people were commenting on various places on the internet, as well as our video that we had posted yesterday about the situation, saying, I hope he's okay, hopefully all of his family and friends are okay, hopefully he's okay medically. And I just want to let you know that all of the information that we are about to give you in this video points to the fact that everyone's okay. So there is no need to worry there.
And this video is going to be full of the letter A for allegedly.
Is this like Sesame Street?
This episode is brought to you by the letter A. Allegedly!
Does that mean that the letter stands for allegedly, or are we alleging that this video is brought to you by the letter A?
You're
allegedly.
making it so complicated, I don't even know what we're doing anymore.
Okay, let's get back to the topic at hand. First of all, upon reading all of the articles that came out yesterday, there were quite a few. I mentioned in last night's video that I gathered that Funko is basically saving face.
Well, based on all the messages and emails that we received from anonymous people, the letter A's back again, baby. I would assume maybe that Big B was cast out.
Sources that will remain unnamed.
Anonymous, letter A, remember.
Sources that will remain anonymous have stated that they have strong feelings that Brian was ousted, basically cast out. He was voted off the very large Funko island, meaning that other board members and other people within the company said, we're not liking how this is going. We think that you being in this seat is a bad role. So let's make some changes. You take a 6-month break and come back and we'll figure out what's going on then.
Frankly, the company has not been doing well for a while now. Things really crashed right after the pandemic. It was like when the pandemic was over, if you want to call it over, Funko really started falling down. And now you'll find Funko Pops at Five Below, you'll find them at Ollie's, you'll find them at Burlington for really cheap prices. And I think the way that Big B was steering the ship, so to speak, is the reason why they want him out. The decisions that he was making were not good, and a lot of these anonymous messages said exactly that.
Yeah, so before we dive too deep into this topic, I just want to remind you to check out MischiefToys.com, which is our designer toy company, where stop!
Is this where you want to place it? Right here after we just said that Funko's falling down?
Yeah? Funko's falling apart!
So check out our toy company, MischiefToys.com. We have an Instagram at Mischief Toys. We also have a podcast about Mischief Toys called at Making Mischief Pod. And then you can go to Facebook and join our group, Mischief Toys. Is that good?
Yeah!
Oh, and MischiefToys.com and join the newsletter.
Remember, Funko's crashing and burning. You're going to want to buy collectibles elsewhere. All right, so what is the CEO? Well, the CEO is basically in charge of making financial decisions of a company.
No, the letter A. Hole. What?
Their job is to be terrible. Their job is to make the company money, even if it requires letting go of pretty much the entire artistic team, for the most part, who brought the company to where they are today. So we are actually going to rewind for a moment. In case you missed it, last year the CEO was Andrew Perlmutter, but then Brian Mariotti came back, and he came back with a vengeance. Pretty much as soon as he took his CEO title back, he fired almost the entire creative team that has been around since pretty much the beginning.
So it was almost like Brian was brought in to be the executioner, take the company in a direction where they wouldn't lose so much money, because I think they were losing a lot of money under Andrew Perlmutter.
Yeah, well, what they fail to realize is that those artists brought them up to be who they are today.
Right.
And now by saving money and going with cheaper labor, they are now taking the special out of Funko, which will in turn make their products less special, less sought after, and not that great. So was it really a good move? I can't say for sure. And all of what I just said is just me completely speculating. I feel like things are slowly starting to look a bit more cheap, and I think that we're going to see even more of that in the coming months with the look of their products.
So for whatever reason, Funko seemed to lose the grasp around the fundamentals that built their Funko company. I don't understand exactly what happened or why it happened, but I would say that it all points in the direction of them becoming public. When they
Yes.
became public, that changed practically everything, and now the company has to make sure that the stockholders are happy. And as a CEO, that's basically your main task. Funko's biggest problem was forgetting about the people, both inside and outside of the company. We heard a lot of tragic horror stories going on behind the walls of Funko, specifically with the art team. It didn't seem like those people were treated very well, and it made us sad with every email we received from former employees telling us what it was like there. And then on the outside, you have people like us that are a part of this community. And it doesn't feel like that Funko really cares about the community anymore. It used to seem like they were all about the collector. They could have been faking it for all we know, but at least felt that way. But not anymore. Things have completely changed, and that is what is tanking Funko. Okay, so in the comment section down below, I want you to tell me, who is the CEO of Hasbro, Mattel, and Lego? I bet you cannot name them right off the bat like you could with Brian Mariotti. And I know you're a Funko Pop collector and you love Funko, and maybe you don't collect from those other companies, but Brian Mariotti's name is all over the internet, it seems like all the time. That's the problem. We should not know who Brian Mariotti is. If we cut out the entire idea of a CEO and we specifically focused on the fun, there's one person that can do that.
Mike Becker.
Mike Becker should be the face of Funko. It should not be a CEO. It should be Mike Becker only. If Funko is going to release any video, any content, Mike Becker should be the face of all of it. And why? Because Mike Becker is hilarious, he's a lot of fun, and he knows what the company needs. I am not sure why they have waited for so long for Mike Becker to become sort of the face of Funko. If you go follow him on Instagram, which is at FunmakerMike, you'll see all the wacky that he's doing there.
Yeah.
And all the wacky that he's doing there should be on Funko's Instagram, and it should be on their YouTube. Why is it only populating on his own Instagram? None of this makes any sense. The CEO is a businessman. And when it comes to a toy company that's supposed to be fun, you do not want to see the businessman.
No.
You don't want to see in a suit and tie when we're talking about vinyl painted toy figures.
So I am going to disagree with you a little bit, because while I feel that Mike Becker is incredible and he should be on like everything that Funko does, and I do agree that Brian Mariotti should not be seen, he should be at his desk behind the scenes working on what he needs to work on. He's just not Mike Becker. I do feel like they need a social media team to hype them up, because I think that makes their social media interactive. And I feel like Mike Becker, while yes, he's fun, he also plays bigger roles in the company. So I don't feel like him being the only face of their social media is realistic.
It could be him and then a team of people, whatever. Yeah. But Mike Becker should be involved in all of it. He should be the entertainment aspect of everything that Funko does.
He might be sort of business-minded, I don't know. But from the outside looking in, he just looks like a fun guy that you would want to be friends with.
So for those who are watching and do not know who Mike Becker is, that is the founder of Funko. He is referred to as the chairman of fun. He does work for Funko still today, and he's awesome. And we absolutely love him. And honestly, he should be wrapping his hands around this whole fix Funko thing. We've heard so many horror stories about the person that is Brian Mariotti. Stories that we cannot share here. But there were a lot of problems with him on the inside, and it's not just like this year or last year. It's apparently stuff that's happened for a very long time. But we cannot elaborate on any of that stuff stuff, I can just say allegedly 500 times because the stories that we heard are stories that I'm not willing to share because I don't want to face any legal problems.
Well, not only that, but some of the stories happen with like just a handful of people present, so it would be really easy to most likely pinpoint who that could be.
Now, I would love to hope that Brian Mariotti is a really great guy and he's awesome in person and everything else, but based off of all the people that have reached out to us, and when I say all the people, I mean a very huge number of people, I haven't had one single person reach out to me and say that Brian Mariotti's an awesome guy.
Which is a shame.
It's a huge shame, but again, that's why he should not be in the CEO chair, number one, and number two, the CEO, we shouldn't know anything about him. Why do we know so much about him? We should not know a thing, and that is the real problem here. It sounds like it's good that he was dethroned. It's good that he's no longer a part of all of this. And as far as I know, he's a multimillionaire. He's going to survive no matter what happens.
My only hope for this is that they can hire somebody as the CEO who is business-minded, but who is also collector-minded, because I feel like you need to have a good mix of both worlds so that you can, yes, please your shareholders, but also convince them like, hey, the collector's feelings matter and this is exactly why, and this is how we are going to make profits again.
Well, I don't know if that'll ever happen. I don't know if Funko can turn things around. We don't know anything at this point. But the only thing that we know is that things are in dire straits. The CEO was just cast out of the company, and now allegedly, and now we're wondering what is going to happen. And we also want to know why SDCC was so poorly planned and why there aren't that many great Funko Pops from that drop.
We still have to go over the remaining announcements that they had because they were doing announcements up through today.
I'll be honest, I don't even care. Although there is a Funko Pop with really tall hair and it has a really tall box. I mean, I totally got to talk about that.
Yeah, it looks like one of those really big ice cream cones that you get at the beach.
It really does, yeah. So we probably will talk about all of that stuff.
So look out for that this weekend. Also, we did buy some Stranger Things packs yesterday, and unfortunately, when the news broke, we immediately sat down and we recorded about Brian Mariotti no longer being the CEO at Funko, but hopefully you'll get that this weekend or sometime next week as well. It just depends on how the news continues to come in. Those are some cool videos to look out for, so make sure you hit the subscribe button and follow us.
By the way, the Stranger Things drop was brutal. It was absolutely horrendous, and I cannot wait to share all the details about that, including our card pack opening. So the stark reality of all this is that it is sad across the board. The people that lost their jobs, people who were laid off, people who were fired over the last few months, Brian Mariotti being dethroned, not being able to find a CEO that fills the position properly, all of these things make us sad for everybody. But somebody on the inside let us know that he was a little weepy. So my question to you is, do we feel bad?
Personally, I don't like to see anyone lose their job. I feel like the people who were let go because of him or sort of forced out because of decisions he made were probably a little bit more than weepy when it happened. I don't want to say I'm celebrating, but I don't want to say that it's not the worst news in the world.
Yeah, because the people who lost their jobs through layoffs and firings were probably trying to find a way to feed their family, whereas this guy has a multi-million-dollar house with a big Funko Pop sitting out in front of it. By the way, do they take those Funko Pops from his house, or the big ones?
I have no idea.
What happens when you're cast out and you still got big old Funko Pops sitting out in front of your house?
Well, he's still on the board, so it's cool.
Right. Well, I mean, allegedly.
Yeah.
Wow, 2 straight days talking about the same exact topic, but we thought that we would shed a little bit more light on the whole scenario, although we couldn't tell you a whole lot based off the messages that we received. However, we will share the data that we can share with you, because I feel like everybody should be in the know. At least knowing enough where we don't get arrested.
Could you imagine if tomorrow someone comes knocking on our door and then we have to film our next video in a jail cell?
I mean, there's no filming in a jail cell, Heather.
Oh no.
You know what they do to you in jail, right?
What?
It's not good.
I'm gonna be sleeping with the camera in my smuggle sack.
Yeah.
Do you want to know what my smuggle sack is? It's my butthole.
No. A is for hole. Wow, we ended it with the letter A. How do you like that? That's amazing. Thank you, Heather. Guys, what do you think about this entire story? We would love to know your thoughts and more in the comment section down below.
In every video, we like to shout out to some of our amazing patrons from Patreon. In this video, we'd like to shout out to
Jennifer Crawford, Amani McKinney, Frankie Funko, Tiffany Anderson, Kelly Spears, James Dieter, Brian Ordill Jr., Ashley Shelley Ann Nelson, George Gifford, and Laura Ann Puala. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. We appreciate all of our patrons. You guys rock. Thank you so much for staying until the very end of the video. And remember, we do have a couple of great videos coming up over the next couple of days. Specifically, that Stranger Things video, which I cannot wait to show you because I cry a lot.
And big ol' ice cream head reveals.
And don't forget, check out MysteryGrail.com. They have an awesome drop coming up this Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern that you do not want to miss. Check them out. They have mystery boxes with a Funko Pop, a scratch-off card that reveals points or prizes that you can find on their website, and also a little bit of candy. And who doesn't love candy? I know I do. Check them out at MysteryGrail.com. All right, it's that time again. Remember, as always, we hunt together, yes. We'll catch you next time.
Bye.